My name is Sergiy Tomilenko. I am the president of the National Union of Journalists of Ukraine. It's my duty to help to support my colleagues who I need, and I should be in Ukraine, and I feel and I think that now I'm at relocated office at Western Ukraine, so it's more safe than in Kiev or maybe in other dangerous places. So I think that I should support from Ukraine to my Ukrainian and foreign colleagues who now as brave journalists try to cover and try to survive. Most of Ukrainian journalists, do the job in honor way. They try to be ethic journalists, and as we compare some content of Ukrainian media, how we or they are covering war with content of Western media, we see the same. And but in general, but the main problem for journalists now is safety, because some territories now are very dangerous for journalists as frontline regions, as regions which are occupied by Russia. So yep, journalists as Ukrainian and foreign journalists, they try to do their job, but we are civilians, so we can't combat Russian occupiers or soldiers. We can't reach any place and any territory to cover all aspects of war. But as we see, journalists now are fixing war crimes of Russia, and as on frontline and after frontline, as we compare with Bucha, with Irpin, after some national police and army, journalists are first because they should fix evidence of this war. No, as for me, I see that every day my duty is try to support, to protect my colleagues, and I don't know where I am now, in Western Ukraine, in Central Ukraine, in Kiev, in my office, or maybe abroad, because now my place is just a small office, small place, as some guest room, but it's just this place where I can rest and I can walk. But the main and I need just communications, just phone, just online. I need some instruments to reach every journalist and media which I can reach. And for example, just for today, I discussed with our colleagues about journalists who are on occupied territory in Zaporizhia region. We try to protect. I wrote at the morning some letters to occupied territories, my colleagues who now isolated because they can't leave this territory, and we try to support, to send some money for living. We try to assist some evacuation. We try to help to our dear journalists from Mariupol, because Mariupol is a symbol of genocide of Russia, and we assisted and know for this moment that about 40 journalists and media workers, they escaped from Mariupol, but for this moment, about 26 journalists and media workers is at our list of journalists which we are looking, which want to find any information about them. We know that some journalists from Mariupol now on occupied territories, on Russian camps. We try to assist, we try to help. So every day as some cycle of supporting, of creating some ways how we can assist and help our colleagues. But maybe one of the best news for this moment was that we started and created our small network, which named as Journalists Solidarity Centers. We organized at 3 cities of Western Ukraine: Lviv, Chernivtsi, and Ivano-Frankivsk, offices, spaces with staff, and we will organize to assist some support and help for all journalists in need now. We assist some humanitarian aid, we assist some technical support, and it's some instrument how to do our duties in best way. Only our enemy is Russia, and only the biggest dangers is from Russian invaders, not from Ukrainian politician, not from government, president. I think that the big evil is Russia now, and I think that for this moment we don't want to criticize Ukrainian government, politicians. Yep, we criticized them in the past, and we can discuss about some actions, some statements, but as we see, we can discuss in Ukraine, we can solve any problems, but such media phenomenon as broadcasting of United TV channel, it's maybe a good idea, because it's a channel of official and information or some news, which some information from our government and president, and because president and his team, they are responsible for Ukraine, for our fighting, for our uniting. So it's some instrument that it broadcast official some news and channel, and maybe for this moment it's good idea, but there are many other media outlets, online media, newspapers, and the YouTube channels, and every media group, they try to develop different channels, not just this United TV, but its United TV channel is most popular, it's broadcasting for all, as veterans, as pensioners, as retired, as for all people, as maybe official channel. Maybe in future we will we will criticize some aspects of editorial policy, but now is time to fight democracy and fight our future. As we see, just Russian invaders, they destroyed Ukrainian media offices, they killed Ukrainian journalists, they arrested, they detained Ukrainian journalists. So I think that we have enough press freedom now in Ukraine, and we don't receive we don't receive many requests, maybe few requests we are receiving during the week from some regions, from some local editors and journalists who may be discussing about some decision of local authorities about ban of some spreading of some information or so, but we don't see a big problem with press freedom and censorship now, and we can compare situation in Ukrainian media with Russian media. We see that Russia just support propaganda media, not journalism, but Ukrainian journalism and media we can compare with Western media, which not in sphere of our president and government. I think I haven't any personal life now. It's war changed everything. It's just as no as routine, but not in bad as bad word, but routine as some duty to wake up and to find some update information and to call colleagues about some new cases and try to support and try to write to some letters to our international partners to assist some foreign support, to assist some support for Ukrainian colleagues who are in need, to produce some news for our channels. For now, I'm proud that we started our special Telegram channel as some media channel for publishing of breaking news. It's just as some every day as a day of routine, a day of hotline, but for this moment when Ukraine now is fighting with Russian, it's our duty to every Ukrainian should do what he can do, what he should do, and we try to support each other. I think that is possible, and it's fact because every day I read foreign media, foreign frontline journalists who are covering this war in Ukraine, and I see that they cover in that way that Ukrainian journalists cover this war. So I see that objective journalism now is real in Ukraine. Yep, every Ukrainian is very emotional about this war. It's our own tragedy. It's not some conflict zone as we saw it, as we read it in the past in some different parts of the world, when we just see as TV news from some far countries. Yep, it's war in our country. It's tragedy, death and killing in Ukraine, but we see that we see that we is human people, we normal people, not as propaganda people or not as occupiers. But it's hard to be objective, but in general I think that media Ukrainian is objective.